I have struggled for the past few weeks to decide what this video is actually going to be about. Over the past few days, there's one thing that's become super clear to me, and I want to get that out. Namely, your journey is your journey. Focus on that journey, and your health is so important.
Right, so it's time for a sit down. You and me.
Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about COVID, about not working out, about eating at restaurants for every single meal, and let's chat about becoming more intuitive. And you know what, if that sounds like I'm biting off more than I can chew, welcome to my COVID brain. Watch me as I, well, realistically probably struggle with pre-COVID, convince myself that it's okay, I just need some rest, I need to build myself back up, and then come down with real COVID. Grab yourself a snack because this is going to be a roller coaster ride.
Tom and I arrived in Malaysia yesterday, and Tom has been ill for a few days, so I've been in charge of doing a lot of the planning, and travel days stress me out a lot in general. So I have been taking it slow as possible, taking a lot of rest, self-care, all of that jazz. I know that in the past, travel days were days where I did not eat enough, by far. During my eating disorder, if we had a travel day, so back in that time we lived in Hungary, or when we moved to Slovakia and had a travel day to Belgium, so in the car for 14 hours, I would eat as little as possible. Well, yesterday we got up around 7, only arrived here by 8, and that would have been a long day not to eat. Instead, nowadays I pack myself a lot of snacks, I pack myself a lot of food, and I really make a point of eating because I know that when I'm stressed, I'm not particularly hungry. So I try to eat enough, I try to eat regularly, because even when I'm not hungry, I know my body needs food. And even when I'm not moving that much, my body needs food. And intuitive eating isn't just listening to hunger fullness cues, it also means just fueling your body even when you're not hungry. So, for example, in the past few days, weeks, we've been eating out every day, usually twice per day. I go for slightly different foods sometimes when I eat out, not necessarily because I crave these things more, but just because the opportunity arises and it seems interesting or fun. Is that still intuitive eating? Yes. While traveling, I've also had a lot of salty snacks. I brought cake with me. Are these things I would always go for? No. But did convenience play a role? Was it just easy to take along? Was it therefore still intuitive eating? Yes. Anyway, intuitive eating really looks different for everyone and at different times, and this is what intuitive life is looking like for me at the moment. Not moving much, eating probably different foods than I would normally, taking a lot of rest, and trying to manage my stress. For some reason, my stress levels have been a little bit high, so I'm working on that. Anyway, as I said, we arrived in Malaysia yesterday. We are now reunited with my sister, who's traveled here as well. So, no doubt, after my working day today, we'll be discovering some nice restaurants, some nice sights, maybe doing some water sports. My sister's very active, so no doubt I'll be getting off my bum.
Anyway, I found myself getting more and more tired, and then we met up with my sister, Evelyn, in Malaysia, and she runs at 1,000 miles per hour. If she gets in her 10,000 steps, that'll be before breakfast, like before I even wake up. And during my recovery, that's something I struggled with a lot. My sister being into triathlons, my dad being into triathlons, me being a bit obsessed with exercise and comparing myself to everyone and everything on my food intake and on my exercise. So being with her now, it didn't bring up those same feelings, just to let you know. It just reminded me of that time where it would bring up those same feelings. Whereas now I was able to listen to my body a bit more. Nevertheless, being together for a limited amount of time, I obviously wanted to do as much as possible with this girl. She's got some great energy. So we went out to a lot of restaurants, we saw some temples, we went and did Mai Tai together.
There's only one person crazy enough to drag me along to Mai Tai, and that after I've been in Thailand for 2 months. We're now in Malaysia. And that's this one.
Anyway, in that, I found that maybe I wasn't always listening to my body. Maybe I was pushing myself a little bit more. And as I said, not because of some competitive, comparing part of myself, but just because it was fun. And sometimes we do things, we eat things, we experience things, not necessarily because they're the best for us or because we know that we need that in our lives, but just because it's fun. And that is fine. Until I got ill. On Monday this week, I got COVID. So after a month of not exercising, after a month of resting, I have been forced to stay in bed for 3 days, and you can still hear I've barely got a voice, and I've just woken up from a nap, but I was forced to be in bed, pretty much be in bed most of the time, for 3 days. And I couldn't even stand to look at a computer screen or a phone screen. So this was boring. Honestly, it was hell. I think nowadays we're so used to having distractions, being able to have some form of entertainment at any time of the day, that just looking at blank walls and darkness for 36 hours straight before I even managed to leave the room, that was really tough. I got up for food a few times in the toilet, and that's literally been it. It's been really rough. And we're going to Indonesia today. My fever was high. My headaches were intense, and there's no way I could have done anything. And yet, even so, that was a real struggle. It was supposed to be, Monday was supposed to be my working day. I'd scheduled in calls, I'd planned in work, and I felt like I had to disappoint people, turn people down, cancel appointments. And it sucked, but at the same time, everyone's response had been so positively overwhelming, because by cancelling these appointments, I guess I showed that looking after your health, putting your health first, is a priority. And I'm really proud that I was able to do that, because I think even just a few years ago, that productivity mindset would have probably forced me to try and get at least a little bit done, and then potentially felt worse. This is really awkward, and I don't think it's because I've not been eating enough, because I think I have. I've really been trying to eat in spite of feeling sort of sick and not in the mood for food. But I've also just not been able to go to the toilet for a few days since getting ill. Very unlike me. But I was wondering if that is normal with COVID. Anyway, I had a coffee this morning and I thought it would probably screw me up, give me more intense headaches. And it was very, very strong, very goopy. And I feel like it properly sorted me out for today. So hopefully we're on an upward trend. I still don't know where this video is going. I just figured after being off the bandwagon for a bit of time, I'd just show you where I've been, how I'm doing, where I'm at. I'm going to see if I can edit this today, tomorrow, in the next few days, whenever I feel well enough for it, just so you all know what's going on. But the message I want to leave you with is focus on your own journey. My sister is probably still going at 1,000 miles an hour, Maybe you are taking more steps in your day than I am right now, even if you're in recovery and supposed to be on bed rest. Or maybe you are eating less than me even though I'm ill, or insert other stupid comparison here. Tom's currently walking for 2-3 hours or so to get himself some lunch, to sort SIM cards, to get me some lunch. Meanwhile, I just woke up from a nap and I'm going back to sleep. It just doesn't matter. What matters is that I put my own health and my own healing first, and that you put your own health and your own healing and your own journey first. And that's a really tricky thing to learn in recovery. But it's probably one of the most important things that I ever did for myself. And that I hope you'll be able to implement as well. Anyway, I feel like talking to my camera for 10 minutes has more than depleted all of my energy. So I'm going to listen to that. I'm gonna have another nap. But thanks for hearing me out. I'm hoping to be back soon. And yeah, let me know what you want to see. Also, let me know if you have any questions about anything. I'm planning to do a Q&A when I feel up for it. And take really good care of yourself. Take enough rest. And see you soon, warriors.